I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Project Architect 2. Now, today is technically not a 10 number episode, but it is World Download Day, because today is technically a sort of slowdown point in this series. And so I want to make sure I share this world with you guys. So if you're a supporter of any tier, be sure to get your world download. Of course, that is handled over on the Discord. So if you're a supporter, whether that is on Twitch, on Patreon, through Discord itself, or here on YouTube through YouTube members, be sure to link your account to the Discord and gain access to that world download. There's a lot to explore, and I love sharing my worlds with you guys, so definitely be sure to nab that while you can. And of course, all of the prior worlds are also listed over on the Discord as well. So all of my past series, you also gain access to. So definitely worth checking out. And of course, let's get on with today's episode. Now, today is going to be pretty huge because we've basically unlocked the ability to make creative items. And so today we can start working on creative power-based items, which will not only allow us to generate more power, but allow us to build out any infrastructure we want without needing to worry about power infrastructure. And remember what I was saying, power. Yes, because today we're going to be utilizing the power dimension that I built out, as I have not used this just yet. But believe me, it is going to definitely get used. And that is going to be today that we're going to use this. And that's because making a creative energy cube, which is a creative source of RF, or a creative energy cell, which is a creative for your applied energetic system, any of these are essentially going to require power. Right here, it's going to require an energizing orb, and it's going to require a lot of power to be sent through it for this operation. So this is definitely not a small task. Now, when setting up power stuff, I kind of want to show a little bit of a demonstration of range and its capability and how far things can actually reach, because you may be surprised to find out how little range these actually support. So to be able to see that, we can change our wrench into link mode, and notice that these all linked up, but this did not. And that's because it is out of range. So we really only have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks that are outside, basically containing this, this energizing orb. Basically think of it as within a 9x9 space. I know it may be hard to see those lasers, but you can definitely see them now. Only these 4 are connected, and any of these out here won't be able to connect to the main energizing orb. And you may also be questioning, well, can you use a entangled block? And unfortunately, I'm going to say that is not going to work. So even though this block is acting as this, it's only acting as essentially its inventory, not really acting as a direct way to connect. You can see if I go ahead and put this in link and I right click, you can see I'm clicking on here and it doesn't allow me to link or anything. Now, I was wondering, what if I filled this entire thing with the max tier energizing rods? Like, that could be kind of interesting. Now, this whole array that I'm about to make, it has the same range, right, up top. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 would be where it needs to go. So it needs to go like at least there. So I'm going to use the cut paste gadget to essentially cut all of these. And then I need to go up here and I need to paste them all. So under paste mode, I should be able to set my position here. And it says replace. That's fine. I'm not actually able to see the render of these cables though, unfortunately. Oh, that could be a little bit of a problem. I think though, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, this should allow me to paste it if I click on this spot right here. And that did not place where I thought it was going to. So looks like I have to cut this again. I will select that spot and then select this one, cut. And now when I paste it here, it should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that should be exactly where this needs to be. And I need all of these lasers facing down into this one energizing orb. Now, believe it or not, this does work. I can actually use the building gadget to place all of these in, and they're going to pull straight out of my network. straight out of my applied energetic system. So all I have to do is just make sure I have enough in stock. So now with all of this in, oh man, this looks so good. Basically 81, I believe, of these nitro rods, and they actually get crafted very, very quick, just with the 4 that I'm using. So I can only imagine if I use this for the actual automation part. But you can see by walking in here, this is one of the rooms that contains the insane setup. Now, the reason I use flux ducts is because I'm pretty sure they have the ability to transmit enough power for all of these rods. I know that sounds kind of absurd, but 1 point should be able to actually support this. And as soon as we have full creative power, this is going to be even more ridiculous. Now, for right now, I am going to make sure the limit is here, but if I unlimit this, we're going to be able to see what the actual transfer limit is. You can see it goes up into the 3 millions here, 11 million. Okay, so I'm going to put the cap back on because yes, the transfer limit on these, I do believe, is insanely high, meaning that this is the one and only cable that we can use that can actually support the throughput of having a setup like this. Actually, I kind of bite my tongue here because you can probably use the pipes mod with the infinity upgrades, but keep in mind with the infinity upgrades, things can get kind of laggy with those. So bear in mind, you probably don't want to use too many of those upgraded pipes in your world. Otherwise, you might start to experience some TPS lag within your single player world. Now let's first go ahead and make the creative power. So this is going to utilize the mech creative cubes for this. And I've gone ahead and I've set up the autocraft for this. Now, I believe we need 5 of them for this. So if we take a look here, this is the recipe, by the way, for the creative energy cube, which also acts as a unlimited trash can by default. It doesn't give you infinite power. It's kind of like in that realm. It is a creative energy cube, but has not been fully activated yet, right? So this is actually the recipe here. So we have the unlimited or the ultimate energy cubes, which require, of course, their own process. The real hard part is these ultimate induction providers. You need 2 of them each, and ultimate induction cells. And all of these go all the way back to that lithium. And this is why we needed a ton of lithium and why we have a bunch of lithium automated back in our mechanism area. So we should have enough to be able to make 5 of these. If I request 5, you can see all of that data ready to go here and what it's actually going to take to do this. 6,000 osmium ingots just to do this operation, 24,000 gold, and you're also going to need 5,000 lithium. So a ton of autocrafts. By the way, I do not have the CPUs available for this, and I guarantee it's because I'm going to have to probably craft one at a time. It's because I just don't have enough CPUs. I think I only have, and I played through this entire pack with a total of 9 crafting CPUs. So I think that's my only limitation there. I don't think it's the data limit, but it could actually be. Like if I request 4 more of these, it's just that there's not enough coprocessors. So it's not that I don't have enough storage. It's just that I don't have enough coprocessors, which, by the way, means that I just don't have enough of the crafting CPUs essentially. But taking a look at this just to craft 1, it's not going to take too long, about a minute or so, roughly, to end up crafting this. But yeah, goodness, it's just a lot of resources. Now, while I'm waiting on those to craft, I went ahead and I started working on getting this connected in, getting a applied energetic system running through here. But what I want is I want to use a wireless connector right here. And this is connected to a P2P, you can see right here. So now I have a fresh 32 channels, but I should be able to also connect this right here, and then link this. And so long as we're linking it within these short distances, things should be fine. And I'm going to connect this directly to the pattern provider up here. So that way I can use this for automation. That way I can have some patterns here that can also inject to this. And we can go back to using a good old-fashioned modular router. And the modular router, of course, will pull from the bottom, which is exactly what I want. And I'm just going to have it send back up into here. And I find that this automation is just so good for the energizing orb. So sender into the bottom and then puller pulling from the bottom. Oh, and everything is beautiful. Of course, we put some speed upgrades in here. And we probably also want, I would say stack upgrades, but we probably only need a couple of those. And there we go. Filled and max upgraded. Now, after waiting for all of these to craft up, I now have all 5 of them ready to go. And what I've done is I've set this to a negative priority down here. And this is for good reason. So that way I don't use up too much power. And by doing this, I can actually allow the limit to be bypassed. So any remaining power, technically, which is how we were sending our power to our antimatter setup, can now be diverted here. So let's go ahead and hand do this. So I'm going to take all of these creative cubes, put them in my inventory, and get ready to place these. I think these, by the way, are draining power right now. But I should be able to now grab one of our final star shards. We have 28 final stars. Oh my God, at this point, because we automated them last episode. And so they just continuously keep producing based on our EMC value. But I just placed this in here, all of these in here, one at a time. And then finally we place this in, and then we're going to see how quickly this can actually charge up. Oh my gosh, that is insanely fast. And at that point, I think we are now out of power. All the buffers ran out, and that's done. It's literally done. We have a creative energy cube that can now produce unlimited amounts of power. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Now, this creative energy cube deserves to be only in one place, and that is the origin, where we originally started out. And I think it can go right here where we placed our first generator. Creative energy. This does have configurable sides, and all of them are set to output, of course. And so I can place a plug here and make sure this is set to bypass limit. And this is now unlimited power. That is always going to constantly come from this location here. This is just ridiculous. Now, you may be thinking, Chosen, if you do have now unlimited power, why would you want to make the creative power for Applied Energistics? Well, it'll actually help a little bit with the strain of our network. So at the moment, this is being powered down here. But what I can do instead is I can replace these flux ducts, and I can just go ahead and have that creative cell down there, which I think would be way better. And it should also limit the transfer that is needing to happen between pipes and things like that. And so making our creative energy cell is going to be fantastic for this. And just having that down there is going to be well worth it. So dense energy cells is what's required here, 5 of them. So we should be able to easily make those. This one being a little bit simpler to craft, as it's technically not as powerful as full creative power is. But now that we have that creative power, gosh, we have so much we can do. It is just remarkable, all of the things that we can spend that power on. So after all of that crafted up, I now have the dense energy cells. So I'll place all 5 of those in there, and voila, another 2 billion RF per tick transfer. However, this time, like this transfer, look at that transfer limit of those cables though. It's going all the way up to like 30 million. I mean, it's ridiculous. It didn't even stutter at all at that point. Like, these flex ducts can transfer so much power, it is absolutely absurd. But you know what? I'm not complaining. I really do like these. Definitely a throwback as well. But I remember back in the day, they only supported like 3,000 RF per tick. So it is interesting. I wonder why they do have the throughput they have currently. But after heading back home, creative energy cell, here we go. And so this is going to go right into here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, which has been what's been powering our controller up to this point. But now this is going to power our controller. Look at that. And all of the sides should be powered, and we should now have unlimited power able to be sent to this, or at least so I hope. It says energy generation, and that of course is dwindling down, but it is still receiving all the power it should be receiving. And everything still seems to be working as it should. And with this, I should also be able to get rid of this buffer, as we no longer need that buffer either. And I can close this back up. So there we go. We'll grab an antimatter or anti-block. Perfect. Close it up. And I even have another room for another wireless connector on the bottom. Now I almost have all of the creative items that I personally want, besides the creative spellbook. I really do want the creative spellbook as well. And this is actually not too bad, considering we already have the Archmage spellbook. So let's see. I'm pretty sure we have the Archmage spellbook laying around in here somewhere. It actually might be in my storage. Oh, did we actually use it for a craft? Even if we did, it's honestly super simple for us to make. But the reason why you might want this is because it essentially, the creative one, has all of the spells already unlocked. So no need to go through and unlocking all of the individual spells. No. You can just make the max tier. By the way, I do have a ton of tributes. You can just make the creative version in here and have access to all of them to play around with. So definitely worth in that case. And so let's go ahead and upgrade this one. And we just need to use our arcane pedestal and a couple of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these marks of mastery, I do believe. And we should be able to make the creative. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 of those marks of mastery. There we go. And all of these are automated from our prior crafts, so definitely should have access to them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then anything else that we need for this? I think that is it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, nope, we need the final star. And then, of course, the book goes in the center. So final star. Man, we're already at 33 of these. There we go. And place the book in here, and it will consume one of those in its entirety. There we go. And this item, like I said, is just so nice because regardless of anything you've unlocked, you just have access to make any spell your heart desires. Oh, and there's a lot of spell add-ons in here. So there we go. All of the individual tiers of spells ready to go and all of the pages of them. Beautiful. And so now that I have all of those creative items, we now can make, in my opinion, the end game, the Tome of Knowledge, the final thing that we can technically craft. Even though we have more things that we can definitely craft creative wise, this right here is the end game. And at the moment is the current in-game goal. And it does require you to have essentially automated in some way some final stars or handcrafted them, but had to have had your EMC set up in a way to get to this point. You also need the Library of Alexandria. And that's what I'm going to show you now, how you can actually get quite easy from the setup that I already have. So if we head into our enchantment lab, you can see right here, we are almost at the level that we need for this. And essentially we're upgrading the enchantment library. So let's actually take a look at what we fully need for this. So this library right here requires 50 Eterna is what we need. We need but like kind of 45 and 50, no more than 50 Quanta, and we need 100% Arcana. So the way that we can transform this and get to that value is actually pretty straightforward. We only need one thing. We just need a, let's see, Apotheosis. We need the top tier Draconic Shelf. And that's almost it. And a couple of skulls. So we are going to need like 2 Wither Skulls. And that's just going to get to our Quanta up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these 2 shelves right here. And I'll just place them on the corners like this. And then what I'll do right here is place down my Draconic. And that actually brings our Eterna up and gets us to our max 50, which you can see right here. But our Quanta is lacking a little bit. And the way that we can fix our Quanta and get that to that 45 that we need is by placing 2 skulls. And by doing that, you can see we are now at Quanta 45, which is exactly what we need for our shelf. So back to Apotheosis, let's take an enchantment library, and now we can infuse it. And that changes it into the Library of Alexandria. And that's essentially it. Now we just have to craft and make ourselves the Tome of Knowledge. And what a way to finish up this Let's Play. Look at that. All of these things going in here. Now, I will have updates from time to time on this pack. I do plan on keeping updated with this. There is going to be a rather large update that's going to be coming out fairly soon, which should hopefully add some challenges and things like that. But here it is. This is the Tome of Knowledge. And as soon as we have this, there we go. There's the goal. And we've technically completed the pack. Well, almost completed. Of course, the full completionist would complete all of the creative items, making sure that was filled out, and also make all of these kind of secondary creative upgrades, which I think is pretty cool. But if we take a look at our EMCable items here, this is about to change because as soon as I right click this thing, we are going to learn everything. So 3, 2, 1, right click. And oh wait, no, we don't right click it. I was completely wrong. Instead, we learn it, right? Transmutation tablet. And we should be able to learn this, I think. Burn it. There we go. And then once it's burned, we now have unlocked every EMCable item. Oh, goodness. And opening up this, we now can see everything that has EMC. Anything that has EMC in the pack will show up in here now, regardless of if you've crafted it or not. So look at this. We can even pull out our little teddy bears right here. Look at the little guys. Yes, there's just so much now to play with, essentially unlocking the in-game sandbox that is this pack, allowing you to build, customize, do whatever you want at this point, giving you access to all kinds of building materials and cool gadgets. And that ultimately was my goal for this pack. I wanted to create a fun mod pack that wasn't too grindy, that allowed you to have access to all kinds of building materials and fun materials that you didn't have to go out and spend a ton of time collecting those blocks for. And it allowed me to build pretty freely and creatively, which I've personally enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoyed if you did play through this yourself. Of course, it's kind of two-part. Those who love building, great pack for you. Those who love automating and kind of speed running through mod packs, this is also a great pack for you. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed. And of course, guys, you know how this goes. If you did enjoy this pack and you enjoyed this playthrough, be sure to click that subscribe button. Honestly, it's the least you can do, and also give this video a huge thumbs up. Now, if you haven't already checked out my socials, of course, you can find them linked down in the description below, or you can check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect, and join the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect, of course. Now, like I said, this isn't 100% farewell to this world. There are going to be some updates that I plan on publishing here soon, which is going to involve some updates and some changes that I've done to the quest. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to that, especially those of you who have quote unquote complete the pack. If you want to jump back into it, there's of course going to be more things for you to do, which is going to be very fun, I think, for you guys, especially when it comes to utilizing your creative items. But of course, until then, I bid you farewell, at least those of you who are still watching. And I do want to use this time now to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to 23Nick55. Thank you so much for your amazing support, and choose to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible and going absolutely above and beyond. I do appreciate you guys very, very much. Like I said, check out the Discord, and if you're a supporter, remember to get your world download, which will of course be handled all through the Discord. So no matter where you're a supporter, whether that's on Twitch, on Patreon, here is a YouTube member, be sure to check out the Discord and get all of your stuff linked up so you can get access to that world download. There's a lot to explore in this world, and of course, I love sharing it with you. And guys, with that, I'll of course see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!